this video, we will see one of the objects that it's used in QM as well, in other modules as well, like PP and PM. The purpose of this work center for QM in particular is normally for traceability purposes to locate exactly what laboratory or what team is doing what task in the entire quality control, let's say, in any organization. And the other usage of this is for costing purposes when we do quality costs, for example, with quality orders. But in general, we're not using capacities or scheduling in these work centers. Okay, so let's go to logistics. Let's go to quality management, quality planning, basic data. And here we have the work center. The work centers are very similar for the different modules, let's say, but we can start a specific one for a QM, a CRQ1. So let's click on this CRQ1 to create. We will create this on the plant we are using at the moment, basically C710. And let's create the work center like quality control lab, for example, right? So we might have different places in a facility, right? So we might have the main laboratory, we can have some plant laboratories or special areas at the plant or the manufacturing facility, right? That you can have different work centers. The work centers is required for different objects like the inspection plans, for example, in QM, but they are also used for PP, for example, right, and PM, other modules. And the work centers are attached typically to a cost center, so we can capture costs, okay? So we will see some specific things related to cost collection, related to in the integrated video with costing, okay, or controlling. We will see that in details. Here we will just gonna create the work center for the purpose of being used in the specific inspection plan. Okay, so as usual, as any other object, we can use a copy from, right? So we can create a new work center for quality management in this case, based on another one, or we can just create it from scratch. Okay, so the work center category is important as a classification and basic data, because there might be some different fields related to the work center category, okay? But basically we are using, in this case, the typical thing is labor for QM. When it's PP related, we might also need it as a machine, right? But in this case, it's considered labor. It means it's the work in hours, right, of the personnel. Okay, so we have the three fields. We just need to put the description. Quality control lab, for example. We can define person responsible. Typically, we can define different persons like analyst, lab supervisor, or different lab manager, whatever is defined at your client, customer. So let's just pick up here a simple one. Okay, so you might define the locations and different things here, but with this is enough for this simple use. We're gonna use here, okay? As you can see, there is a star here, which is basically a standard value key. The standard value key will be discussed in details when we go to the costing part, okay, as I mentioned. it might be related to capture the cost. Okay, so in the standard value key, we define the different, let's say, values we want to capture, like hours, for example, right? So we will have to define something here, but there is one which is practically, I would say, neutral. It will not affect the cost in this case. So for example, we will capture no standard values, means that we're not gonna add any cost, let's say. Okay, so the usage, okay, the usage of this cost center, I'm sorry, of this work center, right, is going to be defined depending on the use we want to, or where we want to use this one. Typically, for any other cost center, I'm sorry, any work center, we will define the 009, but for QM in particular, we just need this to be used in inspection plans. Okay, so we're going to use 002 usage. So this way we can avoid to be used in another task list, like for example a routing or almost recipe, for example. Okay, so this way we can only use it in inspection plans. Okay, so then there are others tabs here with a lot of information, but those are when you are using typically for production. Okay, but not in this case, which is just for quality management. So we will just assign in a future video, let's say, we will assign the costing and we will assign the cost center and the activities when needed to capture the cost. But it's not in this case. We're just going to create this to be used in an inspection plan without capturing cost. Okay, that's why we're just using this. Let me just press. As you can see, in this case, we don't capture any of the standard values, let's say. Okay, so let me just show you one example. What I'm trying to say: normal production. Okay, for example, as you can see, when this is used for typically for PP, right, production planning, it's typically set up of the machine, the hours of the machine itself, and the labor, for example. So in this case, as I mentioned, we're not going to capture cost. That's why we're not going to use any of those values. Okay, we're just going to keep SAP 0, means no cost here. Okay. Okay, so that's it. This is our first work center that can be used later on an inspection plan, which is the other major, let's say, object or data that it's needed in QM. Okay, so let's save it. And it was created. If we can just want to see it, we can go to work center here and display CRQ3 in this case. Let's open it. And it's very basic at this moment, but it will work. Okay, thanks. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, it's because you are interested in S/4HANA Q1 module. If you're a key user or manager in your organization and you want to learn more about this subject or any other, or purchase any other video, or you want to have a one-on-one training session with me, you can just reach out to me at the email below. Thanks.